What's up? I bought one of these since I'm fully committing to being a little vloggy vlogger, silly goose YouTube guy. I have no idea if this is gonna sound good, but I guess we're never gonna find out. That's how you open a box. This is one of those do not eat things. Ho-ho! Thing is, I don't actually know if this works, so this whole video could be a complete waste, but at least I look cool. Alright people, yesterday I announced that I am releasing my first EP before the end of the year, and you guys are gonna help me build it. But first, I'm releasing a single before the EP comes out. Before I tell you what it's called or play any snippets of it, I am going to tell you the story of how I made this song, because it is insane. After I tell you this story and your face melts off, I'll tell you the release date and maybe play a little snippet of it, and then tomorrow I'm gonna show you start to finish how the song was built out and give you a little bit more before it comes out. Okay, so the song that's coming out next, I wrote with two of my amazing friends. First, Joe Janiak. He's produced and written with me a whole bunch of stuff that's already come out. We did Moon on the first day that we ever worked together, and it was over Zoom while I was in college, which is crazy. And then my other incredibly talented friend, Mags Duval, who brought stories to the session that drastically influenced the day. So we all went into the studio. I had worked with both of them before, and we got along really well. That was the one thing, like, we know this room gets along really well. So we go into the studio. We just sat there talking, and I didn't bring anything in that day. Usually when I go into sessions, I'll bring in like a little idea, but I didn't bring anything in this time. And I was feeling particularly uninspired at the beginning of the day. And we ended up talking for like 2 hours before we had even considered music. So Mags and I are both really into horror and ghost stories and history. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, which is one of the most haunted cities in America, if not the most haunted city in America. And come at me if you want, I completely believe in it. I am so sold. But I also like believing in it because it's fun. So Mags and I were trading ghost stories, and Joe was kind of pants. It was just such a creepy vibe in the studio. And eventually we all got just like that giddy kid excitement feeling when you start telling ghost stories and doing whatever. And so I started talking about, I don't know if you guys remember, there was this app called Randonautica that was like a huge thing on TikTok. Basically what it is this app that will generate a random point for you. So you're supposed to intend something. You're supposed to state your intention of whatever journey that is, set your radius of how far you want to go, and it will pick a random point for you where you're supposed to find something, and you travel to that point. It's like a coordinate. It went super viral on TikTok and all this stuff because some kids were supposedly manifesting these bad things and seeing really awful stuff. So this one group of kids, for example, it led them to find like a dead body in a suitcase, and just all this crazy stuff. Well, me being the demented psychopath that I am, was really interested in that app. So I got really into it, and I was basically just telling Mags and Joe about these stories and about how these kids found this body and all this stuff, and there's all this weird energy around this app, and it seemed fitting considering we had been telling ghost stories and talking about that the entire time. So we're all spooked out, and Joe gets excited, and he said, oh, let's do it, man. Let's go. Joe's British, by the way. Sorry, I don't know if you picked up on that, but he really wanted to go. I was just like, let's random out. Let's just see what happens. Keep in mind, we're in, you know, North Hollywood, Los Angeles. You know, it's not like we're gonna be in a very naturey place necessarily. Let's do this. And we set our intention as music, because we were like, all right, well, we might as well, you know, if we're gonna go find something crazy, we might as well, you know, try to get a song out of it and see what happens. And we just start walking. The craziest stuff starts happening. The studio is tucked off the road a little bit, so we get out to the main road, and the first thing we see is this person in a completely pinstriped suit, like the candy cane thing, sitting down across the street, waves at us. And it's like, and everybody's walking past him as if he's not even there. Waves at us and starts pointing in the direction that we hadn't started walking in a direction yet, but this pinstriped guy sitting against the wall is like waving, smiling, and pointing in the direction we're going. So that was terrifying as it was. Just because we were in such like a mindset, we just went. And so we followed where he was pointing, we followed the coordinates. More and more weird stuff starts happening. We see these back alley things. We see people like, you know, looking at us a certain way, or like we heard things or saw these people. It was just something was a little bit off. And suddenly We stumble upon this place. I don't even know how to describe this place. It was basically like a movie prop manufacturing center, but animals. Fictional and non-fictional. I'll put up a picture. This room full of taxidermied animals and T-Rex heads and all this stuff that they use in huge movies, just tucked away in the corner. I mean, I don't know how we can get musical inspiration from this giant stuffed T-Rex head, but we were like kind of just discussing what it all meant. Maybe the whole thing is that you have to let go or not focus on making the song and the song will just come to you. Or maybe it's about like everything leads to something. You know, we couldn't really pin it. And then we turned to walk back and we literally turn around. And on this wall, there's this giant wall, huge mural with music notes on it. Nothing else. It was just a staff, like a musical staff, and music notes. They didn't differ, the notes didn't differ, but it was a rhythm. So this is what it looked like. And I stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, there's absolutely no way. We went out to this random point in the middle of nowhere. It was like a 20-minute walk away from the studio, and we turn around and see this. I'm like, we need to go home and we need to use that rhythm. We get back to the main road, the pinstriper guy is completely gone. We were not gone for that long. But the guy that was sitting, that was like pointing in the direction of where we were supposed to go, was completely gone, as if he had never been there. And we're about to head back into the studio. Suddenly we just all hear at the same time this one song coming through somebody's car speakers that we had never heard before. And it was a chord progression that we had never used before. And Joe takes out his phone and he just records a little snippet of what it sounds like. And he goes, all right, let's go build a song. So we run into the studio as quickly as possible. Cannot wait to get this down. We have no idea what's going on. This was, don't think, just throw down everything, pour out the emotions of the day into this song and just see what happens. Again, I'm gonna show you all the musical elements of this tomorrow. I just wanna give you the story first. First thing we do, we record acoustic guitars in the rhythm that was on the wall, in the chord progression that we heard in the song coming from the car. We just quickly bang. And then it was just rapid fire, one thing after another. And I swear to you, we finished the music part of the song that day in 5 to 10 minutes, something like that. And the song came together so fast. We just all knew that it was going to be so special because it just truly marked the emotions that we all felt on that day. Just reminded us all what music was about and that the universe is just so much more incredible and more powerful than we think. And sometimes the things that are most meaningful or that are trying to tell you something are literally around the corner. You just need to open your eyes and see it. Tomorrow, I'm gonna show you the musical side of this. I'll show you what the song sounds like. I'll show you how we put it together in those 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then I'll start talking about the lyrics and what the song is about. And I can't wait to show it to you. For now, I will give you this. The song is coming out on October 28th, 3 days before Halloween. And it is called Graveyard Shift. I can't wait to show it to you. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.